Hey guys, it's your favorite Unk here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories. I think a part of Shaq, he might not ever admit this, but Shaq see these guys winning these MVPs and a little envious. Because, and I don't care, look, I understand that Shaq got 4 titles and he has 3 finals MVPs, but Shaq know deep down. We should be having a discussion. For GOAT, Shaq name is never brought up in the discussion. Now, we bring his name up with big mans, with Will, Russell, and Kareem, and rightfully so. But we're never going to see another guy Shaq's size with his athleticism that was as dominant as him.
Yeah. And
he robbed himself because he didn't take it serious enough. Did he take it serious? Not nearly as serious as he should have. Shaq should have 5 MVPs. Shaq should have 7 titles. And I think he sees a guy like Nikola Jokic that's not as dominant as him and gets 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
And people are talking about him. And they talk about him dominant big man. But see, when you historically great, they talk about you as great basketball player, the GOAT. And Shaq is never brought up. When they say Tom Brady, even though he plays quarterback, they say Tom Brady is the greatest football player. Ocho, you and I debate. We say Jerry. We say Lawrence Taylor or whomever. But Tom Brady, although he played quarterback, Shaq is never brought up in those discussions when it comes to GOAT. He's never in front of Magic. He's never in front of LeBron. He's never in front of Jordan. He's never in front of Kareem. He's never really in front of Russell. When we talk about GOATs, those Mount Rushmore. And I think a part of him is envious of that. But he doesn't have anybody to blame but himself.
But do you think it's because he's a center, though? Obviously, when we talk about the GOAT conversation,
Nikola Jokic is a center. Kareem is a center.
But okay.
Kareem got 6.
When I think of Jokic,
Russell got 5. Chamberlain got 4. What are we talking about here? Magic got 3. Bird got 3. Moses Malone was a center. He has 3. What are we talking about here, Ocho?
I mean, we talk about Jokic. I see him as I'm trying. He can shoot. He got mid range. He shoots a 3. It's a different type of center for today's game, as opposed to Shaq being in the post.
Kareem didn't do nothing but throw this guy hook. Wilt didn't do nothing but the finger roll.
You know,
so what now?
Wait, so when we talk about the greatest basketball players of all time as far as the GOAT conversation, Shaq's name is never brought up in that?
Have you ever heard it?
No, because it's normally just Kobe, MJ, and LeBron. That's it.
Kareem.
No, I never heard of Kareem.
Actually, Kareem doesn't get the credit that he deserves. No,
it's always the same 3 names.
But hey, the NBA players voted, and they had Jordan 1, they had LeBron 2, they had Kobe 3. But when you see when they do the analytics and they ask all these execs, it's normally Jordan, LeBron, Kareem.
No, I'm talking about us. I ain't talking about them execs.
But here's the thing.
I'm talking about barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. GOATs. How
do you put a guy with got the most regular season MVPs?
Yeah.
Before LeBron broke his record, he had the most points, the 3rd most rebounds, 5 titles, 2 finals MVPs, and you say he's not in the GOAT conversation.
Same reason we say Bill Russell not in it. We just do. It's just
but here's the thing. Russell was the most important, but there are times, Russell didn't win Rookie of the Year.
I know.
Tommy Heinsohn won Rookie of the Year. Now, it'd have been interesting to see during those 11 titles how many finals MVPs. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, he got 8 finals MVPs. Are we gonna leave him out of the GOAT conversation now, Gil?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Because in reality, there's only 2 people arguing for the GOAT. Whoever you have as 3rd, you're irrelevant. Because you can't put any more stats up on the board for you to get the number 2 or number 1 anyway. So when people say, this is the GOAT debate, Shaq, you're in the GOAT debate, you guys don't have any more stats, right? There's only, if Jordan is the GOAT and they're saying LeBron is number 2, the only reason this is still a conversation is because LeBron is still trying to get in front.
Right.
Once LeBron stops, there's no more GOAT debate if he stops at 2. right? If he stops at 2, it's just Michael Jordan. And then whoever comes along and he jumps in front of LeBron, then that's the GOAT debate. Once you're in third place, bro, you got the bronze, right? There's no debating of that part of it. The only reason it's a still conversation is because there's still an active player right now. When it comes to Shaq hates every big man. If you haven't noticed,
he does.
Shaq and the Fool going at JaVale McGee and all of them. He doesn't like the big man, rightfully so, because that's his position. He is, in his mind, he is the apex predator. No matter what no one says, we don't care. He don't care what you say. He don't care. You can throw all the championships and all that. If we lace him up and we had to, in our prime, had to play against each other in our prime, he thinks he's the apex predator, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bust through all y'all. So you guys can sit on those awards. Those awards hurt him. They irritate the hell out of him.
Yes, it's the MVPs, Gil. It's the MVPs because we only have one. And that's my argument. You and I debated this. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to put somebody in the GOAT conversation with one MVP regular season. It's hard, Gil.
Yeah, it's
hard. So we're going to take somebody with one regular season MVP and put him in front of people that got 3, that got 4. But they got 5.
Is he supposed to have more MVPs?
That's his fault.
I have a question. Even without the MVPs, right? Even without the MVPs,
you can't say without the MVPs.
Listen, Shaq's reign and dominance during his tenure in the NBA was like no other. It was like no other.
The zone is in because of him. They put the zone in because we didn't have enough people to guard him. So they said, hey, we can do a 2-3. So that means we can put somebody in front of him, somebody behind him, right? And we can try to contain him. That zone was not for let's make better shooters. It was because no one could guard Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq dominance wasn't as long as Kareem's. No, it just wasn't. It wasn't.
But I tell you,
if you know basketball, he's the one guy. He had the most. You could talk about the one leg step back. You could talk about the step back 3, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because guess what? I got 10 guys that can shoot the James Harden step back 3. I got 15 guys can shoot the one leg step back. How many guys have ever been able to throw the sky hook?
Nah, you're right about that. And I'm gonna say, how many guys break backboards on people's backs?
Well, Daryl Dawkins was the first. But see, they was finding Daryl. They took finding $10,000. He said, well, I'm done with this because they wasn't making the money. If you remember, Chocolate Thunder he was the reason why they put the collapsible rim in, because he was literally taking the rim out of the glass. So they put the collapsible rim in for Daryl Dawkins. I know that's before y'all time, but I remember Daryl.
Remember?
He was Chocolate Thunder. That's when they used to let the guys play with gold chains on, Gil.
But you got to Shaq, that's just one of those things that's in him. He can't, right? When you think you like the same thing with Penny, right? The envious of Penny, the envious of what Kobe, right? The envious of when Dwayne Wade, he said it out his mouth when he went to Cavs, he was envious of LeBron, right? You're talking about a guy who, when he came into the NBA, his name was up there with Michael Jordan damn near.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I think he made the All-Star game as a rookie. Didn't he make the All-Star game as a rookie?
Wait, that power when you young, man, you got everything to your disposal. When you young, man, it's hard to not to walk like Superman and act like Superman. And you say, he's the number one option. And you sitting here,
but here's the thing, Gil. What did they see every stop that he went? Did he outwork Penny in Orlando?
No.
Did he outwork Kobe in LA? Did he outwork D Wade in Miami? Did he outwork? You see, he wanted things. He wanted things for the work that he didn't put in. You see what we talked about, Ocho, when we had this conversation the other night?
Yeah.
The management sees. See, he thought, well, I'm the best player. I ain't got to practice. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And they said, well, if that's the case, well, Penny, Kobe, this one, that one. And so what are the teams supposed to do? And then the injuries. Mm-hmm. Injuries robbed him because he didn't control his weight. He didn't train like he was supposed to. And you see what happens. Shaq's supposed to be in the GOAT conversation. Shaq's supposed to have 30,000 points. Shaq's supposed to be a top 5 rebounder. And while y'all bull jiving, a guy that gets left out is Tim Duncan. People don't realize how good Duncan was.
No, he was a killer.
He was the B. He was the it.
Yeah,
Mr. Fundamentals, huh?
Yes. Yeah, he don't get the credit. Look, we don't. There have been a lot of great guys like Elijah Wan was a great big man. People, the Dream Shake, and he was as good. I got him. He's the best defensive. You can make a case he's the best defensive player because he can slide on the pick and roll. He can slide. He can get out. Obviously, blocking shots, all that other stuff. He was fundamentally sound. Offensively, we know about the Dream Shake. But there are a lot of guys that don't get the credit, especially when you in Jordan. I mean, because for whatever reason, guys, we don't like bigs. Because you know what? We got to have the little guy get you the ball.
Yeah.
The little guys can have the ball and go get their own point. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, we don't need y'all big. We can go get out. We can take the ball from one end to the other. You're not going to do that, but on occasion. So the bigs are never going to get the credit they deserve in the game of basketball. But they're very, very important. And I think Shaq, I know for a fact, if Shaq would have had, let's just say, if he'd had my work ethic, he'd have had 40,000 points. But let's just say he had a better work ethic and his diet. What do you think? Gil, what do you think he could have done with a little better work ethic and cleaned up his diet?
That's been the argument that Kobe had his whole career, right? If you just have somewhat of a better work ethic.
Kobe said 10 titles, they'd have won 10. Maybe not 10 because San Antonio, but they'd have had I give them at least 5 or 6, Gil.
Right. We was like this is what I'm saying. Like, think about the skilled players today, right? Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be, people don't realize this either. All of the power forwards back in 96 to about 2005. Have you noticed the center, when they say the center position is gone? No. It went to the 4-man. Everyone so scared of Shaquille O'Neal and guarding him. You got 7'1" dudes pretending they 6'9". You automatically got put to the center, and they didn't want to guard Shaq for the 2 or 4 games, so they went to the power forward position and became power forwards. That's why our power forward position is dominant, because it was all scared of Shaquille O'Neal, right? That's just how it was. I got to guard Shaq, or I'm going to guard a 6'5" Charles Barkley. Yeah, I'm going to go to this position. So they all moved to the power forward. So when you look at the power forward position, all these dominant bigs, they were supposed to be 5 men, 7-foot power forwards, because they didn't want to guard him. So the fact that if he would have just stayed in the gym, kept his weight under control, right? There was no one stopping this man
ever in the history of the game that could have dealt with him.
Right.
He was strong.
Shaq had a game. You remember that game Shaq had, Gil? He had 24 points, 28 rebounds, and 15 blocks.
And the 24 points you got 52 dudes sticking them, man. We calling for, there's not been a dude in the league since I played that as soon as he thought about, he started ducking in, help.
Yeah.
He ain't got the ball yet, dog. Yeah. Come on down here, help. I'm in the way.
Look at in the finals. Look at what Shaq did in the finals when he was in the Lakers. And look at what he did when they went head up with him. When Rick Smits or Dikembe or Kenyon Martin. Look at Shaq's numbers. 38 and 16, 35 and 15, 34 and 14. Oh, man, the only guy that could have a problem with it because he was going to make it work on the other end was Tim Duncan. Because Tim Duncan was going to make him work on the other end.
Right.
And that's what you have to do. Elijah Wan gave him problem because Elijah Wan used his quickness. He feel Elijah Wan, he think he feel him on the right side. Elijah Wan is already to the left side, and he's in front of him. He done stole the ball. So Elijah Wan gave him problems because Elijah Wan can make him work on the other end also.
Yeah, that's not fair, though. That was a 2-year Shaq versus a damn NBA MVP. Right, that was like Embiid and Wemby right now. That ain't unfair. We got to wait till they prime out together.
That was, man, look here. Shaq, Elijah Wall was giving up 100 pounds. Gil, damn.
That was 93. You got a guy out there and putting him in the trick bag.
That was 95.
When
95 NBA Finals.
95, okay, yeah, that's 95.
Yeah.
Shaq's third year. My bad.
Yeah,
Shaq's third year. Like,
but he giving up 100 pounds, Gil. That'd be like you playing a seventh grader. And they talk about, hey, come on, Gil. Come on, Gil.
yeah, I'm gonna get a seventh grader some business.
But man, look here. And I told Shai, I said, bro, just a little bit. Because what happens as you start to, Ocho, you know this, as you start to age, the injuries will start to come with greater regularity and they'll keep you down for longer. An injury when you're young, keep you down maybe a week. As you start to get 3 years past, now the injury keeps you down for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Now the injury keeps you down for a month. Now the injury keeps you down for half the season. Mm. And so you're like, damn. And that's it. If Shaq would have taken it like, you know what, it was the end all be all. Kobe, Jordan. I'm not saying you couldn't shoot your commercials and do things, but what did Jordan do when he shot Space Jam? He had a court built at Warner Brothers and they played basketball. He called guys in and they hooped. Kobe in the gym. LeBron in the gym. Man, if Shaq did that, so Shaq is looking at, yo, man, this joker, he's 29 and got 3 MVPs. 3? Yeah. Giannis got 2 MVPs.
And that's why I say when people talk about the 80s, the 90s, and they have this discussion, and I say the difference really is yeah, we have technology and these guys have history, right?
Right.
You get to look at where you were successful and where you failed, and then they can change it. So the Jokic, you can see if he was a lazy dude, he would have a weight problem.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He had one coming in, too.
Yeah, he had a weight problem coming, but he took care of his body, and this is the reward of it. We seen Giannis bulk up, right? We see these guys taking the extra measures. There's no Dennis Rodmans in this game.
Yeah.
There's no guy going to the club, Ocho, partying, drinking all night, make the game.
Not the great ones.
Go out there and score 20. No, dog, that ain't happening, bro. You're going to get exposed in this game. So these guys, there's so much money and there's so many brands that's going on that these guys are all walking like a business. They're all thinking like Michael Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. Then it was Michael Jordan and then everybody else was getting rewarded for what this man was doing. Now everybody wants to be Michael Jordan's brand. So they're all acting like a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, a LeBron James. So I'm not going to get caught drinking. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go out and play video games. So they're all being under the radar versus everybody just being athletes out there.
Yeah, everybody now. When Michael Jordan got Tim Grover, now everybody has a personal trainer. Everybody has a chef. Everybody's in the gym. Everybody's doing all that. Because Charles Barkley, I just had Charles Barkley on my podcast. He said, Shannon, when I was 280, I could only play like spurts like 3 to 4 minutes. And he asked Moses Malone. Moses Malone told him, Moses Malone at that point in time was a 3-time MVP. He said, Chuck, you fat and you lazy. That's a hell of a combination. Now you could be one or the other. You could be fat, but you can't be lazy. You could be lazy, but you got to be good. You can't be both. That's two bad habits to have.
Yep.
It's like sports. Ocho, you could be one or the other. You could be old, but you can't be old and slow. You get to be choose one, but choose wisely. But you got both of them on your side. You old and slow. You fat and lazy. Chuck said, I got down to 250, so now I can play. Chuck led the league in rebounding. Chuck can't be no more than what, Gil? 6'4", 6'5"?
6'5".
He led the league in rebounding. With the Shaqs, with the Elijah ones, with the David Robinsons, with the Patrick Ewings, with all those tall guys, he led it. Because he didn't shake. Zion. All Zion got to do. Zion get down to 250, Zion win the MVP.
No fact.
Did y'all see him against the Lakers the last game? Y'all see how easy he got 40? Because he gonna get the way he want to, and you can't stop him.
I listened to that interview, and I wanted to tag Kevin Durant Because he said in there, he said, I was in Philly and I was like, man, I need some help. There you be killing these people screaming for some help, dog.
Yeah.
Charles. But that's what I love about the old dudes. They got dementia early. They forget
that they packed up.